We're live.
So welcome everybody, it is Monday night, that means it is Group A racing here at Sarco. Welcome to Ashley, who's going to be joining me in the commentators box this evening, and don't forget guys, he will be racing a little bit later. Currently we do have the guys in the background there. We have done our drivers briefing. The format for this evening is a 5-minute qualifying going into a 20-minute race, followed by a rolling start for that second heat here for the Bravo tier, and then we'll be going into the Alpha tier, which will start just about 9 o'clock. See that all those thumbs are up in the lobby, so that means we can go racing. So Ashley, hope you had a fantastic week after a very disappointing weekend, I should say. A little bit of an incident in our race lost yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, Dylan, I'm not going to go there. Let's just keep this a family show, and so that I don't have to swear at anybody's mother.
Yes, we are officially Code Coconut, guys. So to the people who are on the stream, that's generally a word that we like to use to replace some other more meaningful words that you'd like to be saying, and that's purely because we like to keep it as a family show. So let's just get rid of our faces while this loads up, and we can just start looking at what's happening on the stream. Who's there? Who's sending us some comments? Guys, do feel free to send us a message. Come say how's it. We always like to hear from you. So actually an extremely interesting setup for this race today.
I've just managed to do a couple of laps. I've had no practice. I don't even know what track we were racing today. Sorry, very bad on my part. It's just been extremely busy, but I did manage to get a couple of laps in, and I'm fairly confident that I can be in the top, at least top 5 tonight's race. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
No, that's awesome. So I did manage to do a little bit of laps myself, and I did manage to get myself to an 11.1. What sort of lap times do you think the guys are going to get to?
Well, I saw Christopher and Morris, which are the top runners, get into the low 110s. So yeah, but they're about a second quicker than most of the field. So those two will basically be battling on their own. And I think it's going to be very close between the mid-pack. It was hardly a second between third and I think it was 6th position, last checks. So I think we're going to have a super close race.
Not 100%. So the other interesting thing is that here in the Bravo tier, we do have some new drivers. So we see number 47 PB, that is actually Peter Brunt, who's joined us. We do have Marius Jacobs, who joins us here in the Group A, as well as Rolf. Rolf, I didn't quite get your surname, but welcome. Really awesome to have you guys racing, and looks like we do have a disconnection already. We've lost our 11th driver that was there. Just doing a quick scan through. So there's D, Peter, Tyler, there's Racing Wolf, Terry's there, the Horn Dog. It looks like it is Hugh Boucher that we've unfortunately lost. Let's just hope that he's able to get in.
Yeah, he doesn't have much time, but maybe with a bit of luck he will be able to get back into this qualifying session and start the race. If not, unfortunately we'll have to start at the back of the grid for the next race. So yeah, unfortunately a bit of a technical issue so early in the beginning of this stage is not ideal, but let's hope we have a good session for the rest of the guys.
So for yourself in the race a little bit later on, you're going to be in the Mercedes-Benz, is that correct?
That's correct. I'll be driving the Boss number 4, my favorite and lucky number, seems to be for me. So yeah, I'm going to be taking on the rest of the pack, which is primarily dominated by the Mercedes-Benz, and then we have one lonely Ford Cosworth right in front, driven by the speedster Marius, which is going to be almost impossible to keep up with on the straights. That car has super amounts of power. So yeah, I'm not looking forward for him overtaking me on the straights. Let's see if I can even get ahead of him. But I am hoping that his tyres will wear off quicker than mine. With all that power, does come at a bit of a disadvantage. You will be smoking those tyres every single corner. Don't know, I'm just looking at this battle in front between the Horn Dog and I think it was, is that Ryan?
That's Robert.
Stoltz, yes. Oh, Robert, sorry,
yep.
Robert. You don't want to be racing on the qualifying. That definitely is going to slow you down.
Oh, there's this famous sideways style there. And definitely would believe, I see I've just got a message here from Morris Jacob saying that it was him that disconnected. So Morris, very unfortunate for that, but please, let's try and get you in for that next race. So happiness there for the Black Mamba team is that we do still have Hugh Boucher that is in the race there. And unfortunately, Andrew is away, so he is not racing this evening. I can tell you who I'm very impressed with, Ashley. The man in shot, that is Ryan Edwards.
Ryan.
He has come on in leaps and bounds, driving with a controller, and he's currently in 4th place, doing really, really great stuff. He has spent a lot of time getting in the practice, and good to see him competing up at the top there.
Yeah, it's definitely no easy task driving with a controller, so he is doing exceptionally well. All the rest of the guys are all got, proper steering wheels, Logitechs with Thrustmasters, and they have a bit of advantage. They get to feel the car and a bit of a feedback from the car, which you won't get on a controller. So for him to be in 6th position is actually well done to him. So that looks like the end of the qualification, and looks like the Horn Dog has taken it with so Robert right behind him, and then we have the newcomer. Is that Rolf?
Yeah, that is Peter Brunt.
Is that Peter Brunt?
Because at the end that's number 47.pb.
Okay.
So 30 seconds at the tone. At least D is saying he's got himself just a little bit of lag. Let's see where D currently is. He's right at the bottom, so he wasn't able to get in a lap time. He's going to have an almighty battle starting from the back there, and then we see that confirmation from Morris disconnecting out of the first race. But Morris, if you are watching on any of the streams, guys, we are on Facebook as well as YouTube. Come and join us. Come and say how's it. Give us a wave. Tell us who you're going to be supporting. We can see some messages coming through from Shane Sampson. He's saying, go Rough Riders. Marius Botma, we are going to be watching you a little bit later in that Cosworth. Trevor's here. He'll be supporting Shane later on. That's for sure. Rudy's here. We wish you were racing too. And then we have Peter saying, nice one, Andrew. Well done. Those guys now all part of a bigger team. Terry and the Horn Dog were racing as TA Motorsport, but it seems that the Rough Riders have got Rough Riders 3, so we'll definitely need to just have a look at those points. So as the race gets going, we will get those points up a little bit later on. Some messages coming through from Yaku. Yaku, you should be joining us as well, man. Let's get that internet sorted. We want you racing. Laka Gerot. Good to see you joining us as well. Ducati Racing, currently leading the championship. Did you know that, Ashley?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I actually haven't really been following the group B. But yeah, the lights are out and we're ready to go.
And cameraman Tim, what the hell are you doing? We need to see the cars, please. There we go. Thank you very much.
Is that better?
Right, so we are racing lights out here at the Silverstone International Track. A little bit of a different layout compared to the GP track, and the guys are very clean through there. Very, very nice to see. A little side-by-side action there.
Oh,
little touch, but those are two teammates. That's Rolf and Peter. Oh, there goes Peter. He's now gone.
Oh, what?
What?
Happened there?
I'm hoping that was a little bit of lag, but that looked like there was a car that had rolled over there. A little spin there coming through turn number 5, but now they'll head down the hangar straight. And it's a horn dog as well as Robert who are clear up front. Rolf, he is in 3rd place, and Brandon down in 4th. Didn't expect that at all, but there was that little touch. Well, definitely want to, as I look back at the screen, it looked like there was 3 cars trying to occupy the same space. That's definitely not going to help.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate, but we do have these first lap incidents, unfortunately, which we need to iron out still, with the guys getting a little bit more excited on the first lap and not considering that there's a long race ahead of them. So definitely something for them to think about, because now they've pretty much ruined their race. And you can see Ryan there, his car is battled and bruised and dented all over, so he is going to have a real tough time to try and nurse it. It looks like he's going straight into the pits.
So we do have Marius who's joined us on the Facebook page. Marius, don't worry, we'll get you in for the next race, so don't go too far, don't get too comfortable. Ryan going in for some repairs. So we're now on a lap number 2 of this 20-minute race. This is the first of the 2 heats. Well, a little side-by-side there between Hugh's going to go through the middle. He's managed to get himself ahead there as no, the little side-by-side, we're going to go 3 wide here into... will it be a side-by-side on the outside? Yes, he does. And Peter Brandt just eases up, and he takes the tighter line. But Hugh will be on the outside, the faster line. They'll go down towards... confused now on my corners, because this is not the corner that it should be. But great awareness there. Peter Brandt going around the outside. Great maneuver for him, and Hugh got Tyler Scott right behind him as they rejoin back on the start-finish straight.
I think Hugh also had a bit of a bump in the beginning there, so that's put him back, because normally he's in the top, I would say the top 4, so he's climbing his way back up the field. And yeah, he's doing a good job trying to avoid these back markers. If we go back onto Brandon, I think he had a little bit of an incident. I'm just seeing a bit of a yellow marker next to his name. So he maybe lost a bit of time. Oh, he's actually very close to, who's that? ROC. Is
that's Rolf. So guys, Rolf is a new driver. That's why we just need to keep remembering who everybody is. So that is Racing 101 Rolf. That is
so brand new to the 10, doing exceptionally well in 3rd position. And he's got the Brandon chasing. He's a Brandon DeSantos. Also fairly new to this form of racing, so he seems to have found a worthy opponent here.
Well, that outside curb coming out of Club Corner, that's not where you want to be going. So guys, what actually happens on this track is you go through Abbey into the farm, which is turn 3, through turn 2 into turn 3, then at turn 4 that actually goes straight on and turns into turn number 14 onto where Chapel would be on the GP track. Well, there's Rolf going a little bit wide, that's into turn number 3, so he'll just have to rejoin the race, but not close enough but to make an attack there, but a little bit of a better exit by Dean. You'll be able to close him down on the hangar straight. Then we join back going through Stowe, down into the Vale and around the club.
So just jumping more on the D, and we're going to see him get a little bit closer to Rolf. seems to be battling with a bit of traction at the moment.
Well,
So what if he's cooked his tyres a little bit?
Well, Dean wasn't able to get in a very good qualifying time. Started right at the back. So with him starting down in 10th place, he's now putting himself in 4th. And now going to be starting to... sorry, he's in 5th place. Starting to close up onto the 4th place roof there. Some messages coming through on the YouTube channel. Andrew Storm is saying, is Christopher Radloff racing? Yes, he is. He will be starting at 9 o'clock. There's going to be an almighty battle happening there. So watch out for that. Hugh Boucher running wide. He's going to have to slot back in, down in 7th place.
So you losing a bit of momentum there. So I wonder if he's maybe just trying a little bit too hard. The second race last week got a little bit excited, I think, because of my great finish in the first race. That I think I overcooked it a bit, and just not taking it easy, not nursing the tyres. It was definitely a lot more difficult to keep the car on the track.
Yeah.
With this car, you have to. Baby it all the way.
That was D taking full advantage of the runoff there, but I'm not sure whether that will be a bit of a slowdown penalty. But what I really like about this BM is that it is so tidy through these twisty bits. Because it's so light, it stops so quickly. That's Hugh down into 8th place. So Hugh's made yet another mistake. Not sure whether he's feeling very confident at the moment, but down into 8th place. Doesn't have his teammate Andrew Ambrosioni joining him this evening. Andrew is unfortunately away. And just some of the other drivers that we have lost that aren't racing this evening is we just sent our shout out to Sean van der Linde, who is at home ill. Sean, we are definitely thinking about you. Yaku's still having internet issues, so he's not able to join us. And Alvain, he did send his apologies on not being able to race. So we would have had a full lobby this evening, and I thought that was D going around, but we keep forgetting that's how D throws that M3 around.
Sideways D. So let's go back to the top of the field, and that's the Horn Dog with a comfortable lead over Roberts. Almost a 4-second gap he's pulled. So he seems to have no problems at all.
Well, it seems when your adversary is not racing you, then it definitely does become easy up front there.
Yeah, that's right. He's other Andrew A, is it? Am I correct?
That's it.
He's not racing. He's not joining us tonight. Unfortunately, he has some issues that he needs to attend to.
What do you mean issues to attend to? He's on freaking holiday.
Well, that is an issue.
I see a spin.
An issue for us.
There was a spin there. So there's Sarge just getting out the way of Robert coming through. I did see a spin. I wasn't too sure who that was, but that was definitely on the exit of club. So D's still trying to close down on Brandon DeSantos, and Rolf, I must say, is doing an absolute cracker here. Oh, D going very wide. Rolf following him coming out of turn, I keep wanting to say turn number 18, but this is not the right format, unless I just go from 4 to 14 and we get that sorted out. So you can see the gap.
I think D made a bit of a mistake there, so he probably...
Oh, what's going on there?
Down.
There must have been a slowdown penalty, because now he's allowed Rolf to go to Peter Brandt to go past him.
I'm not sure what's going on, but he's slowed right down.
I think he must have run wide going into turn 1, because now he's definitely back on the power.
So he's backing off. Something's not right. Something's not right.
Unless his wheel is giving him some issues.
He must have some technical issue there. Well, that's very unfortunate because he was doing very well. And will we see him going to the pits? Seems to be battling around the corners here as well. Sliding. No, he just carried on to do another lap. So I wonder if he had a major penalty there that he was slowing down for. And maybe just slowed down a little bit too much.
Yeah, I'm actually not too sure, because for him to have slowed down, he's literally lost himself close on 20 seconds there.
Yeah.
Well, the best thing to do is we can drop him a message and ask him what happened there. So Andrew having a very, very quiet race, and as we look at him, that rear goes very, very sideways. And I'm seeing that Robert has made up a second on him, because he was sitting just on about 4 seconds. That's now down to 3.
Yeah, he is. So I wonder if Robert's been nursing his tyres and now trying to apply the pressure towards the end of the race. But we'll see in the closing stages if he manages to catch him. And our third place man, Brandon DeSantos, is still the only sort of BMW driver out there that's keeping the Mercedes-Benz honest. Still doing very well. He's got the new guys, Rolf, right behind him, caught back up again.
Yes, that is Racing 101 Rolf there.
Rolf or Rolf? Sorry if I get your name wrong.
So 8 minutes to go of this heat in number 1, and lots of action already happening. Just looking at the current positions, it is the Horn Dog who currently leads at Andrew Horn, with Robert Stoltz in second place. Brandon DeSantos, not Brandon Hills. Brandon Hills, we will be seeing him racing this coming Thursday. Then we have newcomer Racing Rolf. He is in 4th place, with Peter Brunt in 5th. Then Hugh Boucher, he was dropping down the order, but seems to be moving himself back into 6th place. Tyler Scott, he's up to 7th now. D dropping down to 8th. I think that his problems are continuing. Ryan Edwards, he is in 9th place, with Terry Wolford down in 10th place. Some messages coming through on the Facebook. Stephen, the times are looking fast. You can't wait for tonight. Yes, Stephen. Just hold your breath and hope those ribs don't play too much of... that's very kind of Terry moving out the way there.
You know, Dylan, I've just noticed how small the side mirrors on these Mercedes-Benz. Well, all these cars are.
Oh, you're actually right.
They look like motorbike big mirrors.
So here's an interesting one.
I wonder why the guys...
We've got Andrew supporting Andrew. Andrew supporting Andrew, saying, come on, Andrew, you need the points. That's the spirit, Andrew, because now I think that what he's doing is just letting Andrew have a little bit of a chance and then come back fighting next week.
Last one.
So here's a message we've got from Trevor. He's saying the winner ain't the one with the fastest car. Oh no, as I wanted to click on it, I can't read the rest of it. It says it's the one who refuses to lose. Well, we have a saying here, the fastest doesn't always win.
So I just want to bring up those times. You can see the Horn Dog still has the quickest lap with a 1 minute 12 seconds, 0.1. And close behind him is Ryan with a 1 minute 12.2.
That's Robert.
So, sorry, Robert.
Then Brandon DeSantos a 113.5. Then Rolf a 14 dead. But then you see Peter Brunt a 13 dead. So that should actually put him up into 3rd place. Then we have Tyler Scott down in 14.5. Hugh Boucher 13.3. So that would put him right at the top there, so he needs to definitely pull finger for his next one. D 14 dead, 14-1 for Sarge, and then Terry down in a 15.7. But as the time for this race is running out, we still have the screens up. There we go, 5 minutes to go as we jump back there. And Robert has lost an additional second over Andrew Horn. And not really seeing anybody closing up. This is probably the closest now, 3 seconds separating Rolf and Peter Brunt. And Brandon DeSantos, this guy's got himself onto the podium in just about every single race.
Yeah, and it's all about just being consistent and smooth, and as I say that, he goes off wide. But yeah, if you manage just to keep it smooth and tidy for most of the race, you have a good chance of getting a podium position here.
So I see Sarge, he went into the pits to get some repairs done, and there he is now up into 8th place, so he's definitely going to be taking his points and running.
Well, the mechanics did an awesome job, and they managed to put all these bumpers back on again, take a bit of that scratches out and that, so his car's looking brand new second hand.
So I'm quite interested to see whether Wolf will be able to keep that gap from Peter Brunt, because at the moment Peter is going a little bit quicker than him, and there they are. You can see that gap now, just over 1 second. And another little mistake there from Rolf, and Peter's going to be right up behind him.
This is an interesting battle with only 3 minutes left on the clock. I think Peter's got a good chance of overtaking his friend here. Well, that's Marius' friend, right?
Well, these two have come from Marius.
Okay, so they're obviously both mates of Marius.
So a 112.7 for the Horn Darge. It's only 0.3 separating himself and, well, now, so in terms of a lap time, well, here comes something interesting. So Peter Brunt around the outside, but there's D. I hope he just holds his line. Yes, he does. He allows them to go past. So that is Peter Brunt now being able to get himself around Rolf. And there's that confirmation. You can see a much faster lap time there by Peter Brunt. Wolf making the mistake of 118. So the positions have changed once again. 2 minutes to go, so we'll have this lap plus one more.
Not as exciting as the Nürburgring race, but nevertheless, I also think there's also quite a few guys who pulled out tonight, so maybe that's why it has made it as interesting as the last week's race. But also this track seems to be very fast, lots of straights, fast corners, not too many tight corners, which is actually will suit, I think, Marius tonight in the Cosworth, who will be enjoying those long straights.
It all depends on how quickly he heats up those tires.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter Brunt running very wide into turn number 1. So that was Rolf. He looked like he was also running a little bit wide there on the exit. A little bit hesitant coming into out of turn 1 now through turn number 2. Now hard on the brakes here, turn number 3, gear down to second. Oh, very wide there. Sorry, they're actually now going into what is essentially turn number 5. And there's Hugh in the background. He's on an almighty
looks like
charge.
he's catching.
He did go faster than both of the drivers in front of him.
Yeah, he's like a second cricket, so he's definitely put his head down towards the end of the race, but a little bit too little too late, unfortunately. And with all those spins that he had in the beginning of the race, it's gonna unfortunately he's not going to be able to close that gap too much.
Did you see the amounts of counter steer that was in Peter's car there? He was definitely riding the slide out there. So just remember that these guys will go into a rolling start for the next heat and will be starting in the position that they're ended. Message here from Andrew saying he wish he was racing. Andrew, we definitely wish you were here too. Oh, a little mistake there for Wolf into turn number 2. Now rejoining back on Chapel. Now they'll come down the hangar straight. So our race winner, Andrew Horn, crosses the line in the first place with Robert in second place. Brandon will come home in third. So another podium finish there for Brandon, getting those points up on the board. I'm sure he'll be extremely happy with that. Then Rolf and Peter will win this battle. He's a little bit wide. Does that allow Hugh to get through? Don't think he was close enough, but they will cross the line quite closely together in the end there. Tyler Scott, he's in 7th place with Ryan down in 8th. D down in 9th place. I think just a little bit of technical issues. We'll just want to drop him a message just to see what was happening there.
That's Tyler finishing in 7th. And that's the end of the race, guys.
So there's the final
stand. So the Horn Dog taking it there, yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, the Horn Dog taking it there with a 5-second gap over Robert, and then followed by Brandon DeSantos, the new guy to this racing league, and then Peter, the new guy as well, brand new to Sarco, picking up a 4th. Well done to him. Followed by Rolf, he's mates with Marius. Then you got Hugh Boucher, we got Tyler and Ryan down in 8th position, followed by D, and then Terry Wilford in 10th.
Right, guys, we're just going to return to the lobby, just take that qualifying away. Let's get Marius back in. And we're just waiting for D to restart the game. His gear shifter came off the desk, so he didn't have any gears. So he unfortunately did drop down there. But let's just get Marius back in here. I see that he is in the lobby. That's fantastic. And D would need to come back in. Let's just get rid of the qualifying.
Just my thumbs up, coffee.
Ja, man. Ja.
Okay, kom try my tweede ronde.
So guys, we're just waiting to get D back in the lobby. He just had to restart there with him disconnecting his gearbox, coming off the table. But we're getting back in. We see Marius is back in there now, but Marius was watching us from the sideline. As soon as D is back, we will get going.
Lekker.
Dankie, Hugh. And Andrew was supporting you all the way, saying get some points because he's coming for you next week.
I have no doubt he is. I'll take a get while he's away.
So guys, do you know where you all are for the next race? We need me to remind you what position you need to starting for the rolling start.
Ook kan ver onder is met myne.
Nee, you, ons is coconuts, asseblief toch.
Oh, sorry man, I just had a bad race, my bad.
Yeah, and your teammate wasn't happy, eh?
Ja, nog van 6 rond oor.
Right guys, we have got 2 more minutes to go.
Actually, just tell me, was I 7th or 8th? You start
I
speaking.
think I was 8.
It's your 7th.
Cool.
Ryan is in 8th, D's in 9th, Terry's in 10th.
Okay guys, there we have it. D has not joined us. Please just do one last confirmation just to make sure that there aren't any disconnections or any people clashing.
Looks good on my side. Yeah, I'm not clashing.
And D, just make sure that clamp is nice and tight. And you can get your thumbs up and let's go racing. Just remember, guys, if you do need to let people go past you on the formation lap, just stay to the left hand side of the track. The guys will pass you on the right. Once you are in formation, it will be up to the horn dog to lead you guys away. Just keep that pace at about 120 kilometers an hour. Then as everyone is through the last corner, Andrew, once you hit that start finish line, you may give it horns.
I'll count everybody down.
Move until the guy in front of you has moved at least 10 meters, just so that you guys don't bunch up.
I think we just lost someone.
Yep, I see Hugh Boucher just disconnected, so he better jump in quickly, or else we're going to be starting without him. Because we do have the Alpha tier ready and waiting to go directly after you.
He's not online, so I wonder if he's had a power failure or something.
Let's just drop him a quick message. Actually, just check that he's not online. If not, we'll have to start without him.
I think he's turned his status off. I've just sent him another invite.
Yeah, I sent one as well.
Okay.
Okay, so I have dropped him a message on his WhatsApp, and I'm not getting an answer. So unfortunately, Hugh, we're going to have to go without you.
He is online.
Is he? Yeah. Well, that was very close.
Yeah, he's online.
Okay, cool.
But he's not connected.
No, he's showing his profile is showing offline. Last online a moment ago.
On my side, it shows he's online. That's weird.
Maybe he's having network issues.
Right, guys, we're going to have to go. Unfortunately, Hugh, sorry, man. Right, guys, just remember, just pull off, keep to the left-hand side. Just let the guys, if you need to get by you, just pass on your right-hand side. Single file to the line, and away we'll go racing.
Yep. I think everybody's here. They can hear you.
Alright, guys, it is going to be the beginning of heat number 2, and we've fortunately had to start without Hugh Boucher. Looks like his internet went down and we had to get going. Sorry, Hugh, very, very sorry. What's going to happen now, you'll see that the guys will pull off very slowly, and the guys will then get into the positions that they ended the previous race, and from there they will do a formation lap and then do a rolling start. That was the sync that we were waiting for.
Yeah.
And as they
Just
go
let me know
around,
if you don't know where your position is.
that's just actually just
Take it easy.
just so that did look like it was a little bit of an enthusiastic start there for Wolf, but this is their first race, so I'm sure that they will start understanding what's happening while the guys are getting themselves into positions. Let's just take a look at the current standings. Just going to make sure that that is the right one, that is correct.
Okay, that's right. So, Tyler, you must be in 6th.
So these are the current positions. Andrew Brogioni not in here this evening for the Black Mambas. He currently leads this championship, but that would have been closed up, so Andrew would be in a dead heat. Brandon DeSantos is currently in 3rd, 2 points behind Andrew with his 3rd place. He would have lost just a little bit of points there to him. Hugh Boucher is going to start falling down the field when we have Tyler Scott going to be moving up. Making up some points. Alvain, he's not in this evening. Scott has not joined us. D, he will be here. He's going to be hoping to get some points down in 8th place. Robert, he's going to cash in, get himself 30 points for the first heat, so that will definitely start bumping him up the field. With Ryan, he'll also get some points. Ashraf, he's not able to join us this evening. Terry, he will get himself a few points with the Dr. Phil not racing this evening. Johan VDV, we're not too sure what happened to Johan, and some guys are out, but we have still got them on should they want to join us. But it is the Black Mambas currently leading this championship, followed by TO Motorsport, who actually is in fact, and looks like the guys are racing, so we did miss that start. Let's get rid of that. It looks like a knock from with Tyler Scott once again. So he's really having an absolute nightmare in his last couple of races with some coming together. But you can see how close it is now in the midfield. Andrew has been able to get away with Peter Brunt moving on the inside in second place, but that's now Brandon actually on the inside. A little bit of sideways action by two cars right behind that was Robert and Rolf, but now they'll come into the Vale. That was Rolf going a little bit too deep. He's going to run wide, so that will allow Robert to move up the order. Sarge, he's up into a 5th place. That is Ryan. D's up into 6th, so he's now moving himself up the order. So a really, really close racing action here. And as the guys start fighting for the positions, it's definitely going to get a lot closer because the drivers are all very, very close together. The two Mercedes BMWs having a little bit of a bounce coming through turn number 1. Robert's a little bit tentative, getting that power back on as they go through this transition between turn number 4 and turn number 14. D taking that cone with him on the outside on their exit, but now they're back on the hangar straight. This is a race to the end, going through Stowe.
Yeah, Dylan, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So that's Tyler and Terry in the pits.
Yeah, that looks like they are coming together, unfortunately. A massive accident in the first corner there. And, that's what happens when you try to take a corner 3 cars wide.
So D moving himself up. He was in 10th place. He's now in 5th. They're going to start closing up on Robert. Sarge going very wide there. You can see how frantically he was trying to get those front wheels turned in to straighten up that car. The guys in and out the chat party realized that I possibly should have left that before we joined here. So that is the battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th place. And the thing about the BMWs, you've got to keep those revs up. If your revs drop, you lose the drive coming out onto the straight. Robert getting very close to the rear of that BMW for Brandon, and there's D putting it in sideways. Robert going very defensive, trying to not let D move to that inside. Now they'll exit out of club. Let's see what those times are looking like as they cross the line. So Robert and D doing just about the same time. Wolf in a 2nd place. He also did a 13 flat. So 3 13 flats. Oh, there goes D again. Right off the track coming through turn number 2.
Yeah, I wonder if he's lost his gear lever again. He's going to have to find some strong bolts to keep that thing down.
So Andrew Horn having a very uncontested race out in the front. Then it is Peter Brunt in 2nd place with Brandon in 3rd. Robert is in 4th place with Ryan in 5th. Rolf in 6th place with D now in 7th. With Morris still with us, hasn't disconnected. That's really, really awesome to see. Great to have him racing with us. Terry down in 9th place and Tyler in 10th. Some messages coming through. Rough Riders Stay Hungry, a message there from Trevor. We'll see lots and lots of them racing a little bit later on. Christopher with a very, very Christopher thing to say, flat out. I suppose you would have said Bud after that normally. But that's an East London thing, isn't it?
Nah.
Or is that a racing
I don't
thing?
think so.
We'll definitely have to ask him. So Ryan is up into 4th place. Brandon DeSantos down into 5th. So he must have made a mistake there.
Ryan's doing actually very well with their controller. Managed to keep in the back of Robert.
And that's definitely helping him because he's going to be getting the slipstream
So-
advantage, most definitely.
Yeah.
Man, that corner, I just love it when you turn in, that rear just steps out and you just ride that slide all the way through there. Not
Yeah,
something...
this car is definitely a sideways car. This whole formula actually seems to be quite tricky. The high-speed corners as well. You have to just throttle, be gentle on that throttle, otherwise you can easily spin it around.
Ash, can you just drop down there to 5th place? Seeing that Rolf is right on the rear.
Sure.
And not only that, but we've got D right behind Rolf. So Rolf was closing up on Brandon, and D closing up on Rolf. So a 3-way horse happening right here. And
Whoa,
D sliding
this is
it
gonna
through
be
the
a tight-
inside. That was an absolute fantastic move there. So D back up into 6th place. So Rolf won't get the quicker line there through the transition back onto the hangar straight. And some messages coming through from Memo. The chasing beavers are rooting for D here, and this is exactly what we wanted to see. That's D getting a much better drive coming out of that turn, which is effectively turn number 5. He moves to the inside. He's up to a 5th place. Brandon has to let him go. So a great comeback from D there. 2 places in 2 corners. See Brandon taking a much tighter line there. D very loose. Brandon is very loose.
Definitely a BMW Drift Series that corner.
So Ryan starting to lose just a little bit of ground to Robert, but a 4th place is a really good effort there. We are halfway through this race. So the guys in the Alpha tier, we are currently running just about 5 minutes late. We were trying to get you back into the lobby, but unfortunately we had to start without him. An 11.8 for Andrew Horn. That is an absolute fantastic lap time there for him.
That is a qualifying pace that he's doing there. So he's found a bit of pace somewhere on this track, and that's extended his lead by over 5 seconds with less than 10 minutes to go. So he's in a commanding lead here. Maybe showing his true pace now after that comment from Andrew on the stream.
I hope we haven't fueled his rivalry there. But let's just drop back to that battle for 5th and 6th place, because it is the battle of the BMs here.
Definitely, and this is turning out to be a very exciting race between these two guys.
But not only that, there's now an even bigger battle brewing, and that's going to be for 2nd and 3rd place.
Look at that.
Because now we've got Rolf that's, Peter Brunt that's now been able to get himself ahead of Robert. Big sideways action there for Robert. Really awesome to see. Sorry, apologies that Robert was in 3rd because Sarge was closing him down. So this is Peter Brunt fighting very hard to stay ahead of Robert. So that
he's doing some good times as well. If you look at his times, 1:12.8 the last lap. Robert did a 1:12.3. So yeah, these 4 guys in front here are keeping good pace.
A 12.4 for Ryan Edwards. That is absolutely fantastic. Really happy to see that, man.
Yeah. I'm quite excited to see what this guy can do with the steering wheel. I'm sure he'll be a lot more competitive.
And just remember, he is changing gears. And he has to change gears because this is set to manual.
Manual.
So really great effort there for Ryan. So it does look like Brandon has been able to keep D at bay there. 2 seconds is the gap there. D made a mistake there with a 117. But it is Robert now starting to close up on the rear of Peter. Lots and lots of messages coming through for the Rough Riders team. Just love the way that suspension works when you're going through turn number 1. It's just about flat out. For me, I like to get right up to that 50-meter mark. It's a quick touch of the brake, turn in, gear down, and straight back on the power. Is that how you would take it, Ashley?
Generally, I just like to get around the corner as smooth as possible. I try not to slide, try to be as very steady through the corners. No, I'm not as brave as you, Dylan, definitely.
You have to chuck it in there. You have to chuck it in.
You have to gooi chuck it.
Remember what they say. When in doubt, flat out. So Robert definitely starting to close up on the rear of Peter Brunt here. Coming out of the last couple of corners now through turn number 14. This is where he'll have an advantage with...
He's got a bit of a slipstream. We'll be able to keep that momentum going through the first corner.
Now
he's much closer now.
Coming
so,
up.
Are we going to see a lunge here?
No. I was just trying to see who that was in the background in the boss car, but whoever that was got out of the way. I think that was Marius down in 8th place.
That was Marius,
yep.
Yes.
So he did not want to get involved with these guys whatsoever. Oh, little flick of the rear there for Robert.
So we're on board with Robert now, going down the back straight. He's trying to pick up the slipstream from Peter. He brakes a little bit later, Peter, so that's we're a little bit closer. You see how sideways that Mercury gets around the corner. That's what Dylan was talking about. These cars are very, very loose at the back.
Oh, is that the mistake that he's been waiting for?
He makes a mistake. Oh, and unfortunately touches.
So that was the fault of no one. I think that Robert was just trying to was just trying to get through there. We did see that Peter Brunt did go through there. So that's going to allow Tyler to go through. But now Sarge has moved up into 3rd place. So an absolute great moment for him there, being able to move up the position. Little flick of the rear. We don't have Peter Brunt on the inside, not close enough. Sarge will just have to get this car stopped nice and early, get it turned in, get the power on. The BMW is a lot more nimble through this section, and just hope he gets a nice drive here in the link between turn number 4 and turn number 14. They all go wide, so they're all going to be nursing that slowdown penalty.
Will they take it? That's the thing. I would just keep going flat out.
I wouldn't either. So Ryan taking the much tighter inside line. You can see how that rear was just about letting go. You managed to control that slide. Now hard onto the brakes. Down the Vale. Sarge is a bit deep, but manages to keep it off that outside curb. So 3 minutes left. And a little mistake there by Peter Brunt. Robert going straight into the side of him, and that allowed not only Robert to go past him, but also opened the door there for Ryan, who's now moved himself up into 3rd place. You see him battling with that BMW going through turn number 2. Now through the transition, now rejoining back turn number 14. Robert very sideways there. Oh, that's Peter moving to the inside. So he managed to find himself around Sarge.
Yeah, it looks like Sarge just took that corner a little bit too quickly and had to slow it down and lost momentum, and Sarge was able to overtake him again. Sorry, Peter was overtake Ryan. Not having a good night tonight. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we did grab Ashley in. Oh, big tank slapper there for Ryan, but he did manage to catch it. We did drop Ashley with the short notice. Unfortunately, Stephen Darge was working late this evening and not able to join us. We'll definitely catch him this coming Thursday when we head to round number 4 of our Formula Renault 3.5 V8.
Then we have the Horn Dog way in front with almost a 15 second gap, so he's in a commanding lead at the moment. There's nothing really that can stop him at the moment with just 1.5 minutes left. And in second place we have Stolz, Robert.
Yep.
And just avoiding a back marker there.
That was Terry. Terry just getting out the way up. And Ryan has not finished his fight just yet. He's still coming back with a vengeance.
Let's hope Terry can see him.
Yep.
Doesn't get into the way too much. Yes, he pulls out the way.
That was a great awareness there for him. So a message here from Trevor saying, good camera work. Trevor, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. And Peter's message coming through saying they're going to have a rough time catching the Rough Rider. Oh, I can hear a t-shirt starting to be made in the back of my head there.
Yep.
So we are on the last lap. And Andrew Horn is just about won this race with Robert in second place. In third place is Rolf, a newcomer. Rolf is racing. Rolf is further down. That is Peter Brunt in third place. Ryan, a formidable battle and a great position there for him, currently in fourth place. Very interesting that we saw Brandon. He's now down in fifth. Honestly thought that he would have been a little bit higher up this evening.
And then well done to Andrew taking the first for the second race today. Followed by Robert coming home in second. Not far behind we have Peter. And then Ryan, closest there. Well done to Ryan. Managed to finish in fourth place with that controller.
But I see that Robert has a time penalty up against his name. Could that be a position change?
It could be. He may have had a big enough gap to keep his position. All right, Dylan, I'm looking forward to my race. That was quite exciting stuff.
So I don't know if that invite has come through yet, but I haven't seen it. So Ashley, thanks so much for joining me here in the commentary box. Really
Thank you, Dylan.
Did appreciate it.
Cool. I'll catch you on the track.
Fantastic.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Everyone back now. Terry?
So thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed that round number 1. Let's just make sure that we...
I grew up watching Senna and listening to Senna and obsessed.
Hello.
He was the perfectionist.
Issues.
So guys, while we're just getting the alpha tier up and running, we're just going to quickly make some changes here to some of the skins that are currently up. That's what I'm looking for there. Ross, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you, man.
You're just able to invite Sarge. He said that he would assist with doing the director role.
Yep, what's his name?
Hold on, I can invite him.
Just gonna feel quick Christopher.
How are the views going, Dylan?
They were very good, Memo. Thank you very much. We were up to about 20 at any given time.
Okay, that's cool. What's your target? 1 million?
My target is that for everybody to have a fantastic race and enjoy what we're offering them.
Look at him.
All 15 of us, yeah.
Oh, they're cheating on top.
Sarge Stoltz.
I think he was. Look at Marius.
Hey, don't mess around with these kicks, like, because if I have to remake this lobby, I'm gonna lose my shit. Someone's gonna. Are we live?
Coconut mode.
Oh, he laughed.
Both the kicks are rolling.
Yeah.
Should ban you or something, Dylan, for all the bad words.
It comes to your house and they arrest you. Somebody from YouTube. YouTube police. A big red van. Big red van with a white triangle on it.
No, but he might lose some of the cash that he makes. I don't know if he makes cash from YouTube.
I mean, there are swear words on the internet, right?
Then they will demonetize your video?
Okay.
Aroused words.
Where is Sarge?
Okay, okay. I've got a message from Turkey. Turkey just sent me. Okay. He didn't say anything in the message. Just sent me a blank message. Why did Turkey send me a blank message?
Make you notice him, that's all.
Wants an invite.
It was an invite. Okay. Okay. Sorry, is Turkey going to be in this lobby? Is he still taking over from Craig? Okay, sorry. Sorry. Is he here? No. Why is he?
I've sent him invite.
Thank you, man. Sorry, Turkey. Got you now.
His microphone is just out.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Turkey, can you hear us?
No, he can't.
I can't hear him either.
You're
Wait a second. Come on.
Who is he clashing with?
Yeah, it's clashing
Everybody. He's clashing with quite a few people.
So guys, we've just sent out the invites for the Bravo tier to come and join us in the commentator spot, just so we can just have a quick chat to them. Just want to see if they're going to be joining us while the guys in the background are getting the room sorted out. And yes, we are officially a Code Coconut. Well, there's Sarge. So Sarge has now just joined us, which means that Ross, could you please make Sarge the director, and myself the broadcaster?
I don't know if Biggie's okay on my side.
No. Yeah, I'm okay. How's it, guys?
Are we good?
How's it,
I
guys?
said to make Sarge.
The director.
Yeah.
And slightly pole position.
No. Get out. Right, let's just get to go.
Okay guys, get those thumbs up and we can go racing. And Sarge, all you got to do is just look for the little yellow arrows wherever there's some wonderful action happening. Just put the camera on that and you'll be golden. I'll do all the talking.
Keep my eyes open for that.
Fantastic, and thank you.
Me that.
So Andrew, are you able to hear me? So guys, while the lobby is open, we do see that the guys are trying to get inside our Discord app so that we can get them up on camera, but for some reason the videos aren't showing. So we just stick around while the guys start up there in the background. We will get underway shortly. Right guys, so we have 15 drivers that are racing here this evening. We do have the Dub Catty Racing that are currently leading that championship. We will bring up the points while the guys are doing the outlap, and I will definitely make sure that I'm able to have a much better view there. What I'm going to need to do is just get Sarge into a chat party quickly. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Right, guys, so it seems that we are currently up and running. So far, the fastest time is by Gerard, a 1:11.1. Then Christopher, 1:11.2. Alex, 1:11.5. Then Ashley, 1:11. I was going to say 11.6, but that was actually Jake's, 11.6. Morris goes fastest with a 1:09.3. We do know that he can do those lap times for possibly just about 3 laps. Then the tires will heat up. You'll have to come off the pace and then stick to the mid 1:11. So you won't be able to do those 1:09s consistently. Looking further down the field, Pierre, he does a 1:12.4, followed by Ross, 1:12.4. Then Marshall, a 1:12.9. Stephen, 1:13.1. Stephen driving with 2 broken ribs, having a little accident at work. Sly Pete down, a 1:13.6. Troy, 1:14.0. Memo, 1:15.000. It almost doesn't get any closer than that. Then Durkee, he has joined us once again with the Duppy having some internet problems. Duppy, we definitely do miss you. And yes, Yaku, you're not wrong. This Cosworth is absolutely insane. It is very quick, but I'm not sure whether it will be able to hang on to that pace the entire time. So currently Christopher, he's got himself into the 110s with Jake's also a 110, but Christopher 110.6, Jake's 110.9. So still 1.3 seconds off Morris's qualifying time, but the qualifying times mean nothing. It is all about the racing. And I just hope that we're able to have a nice clean start with 15 drivers up on the grid this evening. Craig's not able to join us this evening. He is unfortunately working late. So that is the second of the NASCAR drivers. So some messages coming through saying the RX-8 is going to take that win. Not necessarily, because the Mercedes-Benz are very, very strong through the twisty bits. Gerard for Dubcatu Racing, he's been able to out-qualify his teammate. Gerard in the 110.6. He's gone faster than Jake's, the second of the Green Mamba drivers. So while we're just waiting for that time, I just need to let Ryan, if you can hear me, just join me just prioritize to game chat, please.
Hey Dill, enjoying the stream, Dill. Cheers, Dill.
Thank you, Twisty, that was live. Ryan, if you can hear me, just join me party chat, please. I mean, prioritize game chat within the party. So Ryan is in control of the cameras this evening. So this is the first time that he has done it. We just want to get him prioritized so that he is able to hear me. He might not necessarily add some comments. Well, there he is. We can hear him. So Ryan, if you do feel that you want to just chip in every now and again, feel free. But now we are currently racing here at the Alpha Tier, and it's so weird that the camera keeps doing that off the start, so we're not able to see what's happening, but the guys all seem to be clear. And as I expected, the Ford bogged off the line. Christopher had an absolute blinder of a start. They just about too wide going now into turn number 3. Morris looking to the inside but not able to take advantage of that, but this is where the Ford is going to be extremely strong. Jakes has also had a great start. He's now moved himself up into 3rd position. Oh, big accident in the background there. Cars just trying to get through there cleanly. That looked like it was Ashley. I'm seeing 2 black cars further down. Stephen's been able to get through there cleanly, as well as Troy. Stephen moving ahead of Alex. So they're going to go as side by side down into the final two corners. Lots of space given there between Alex as well as by Shane. So we'll cross the start-finish line. Beginning a lap at number 2. You can see side by side cars on the outside there that look like a BMW that got very sideways there. Whoa, little flick of the rear. That's someone who's now falling down. Ryan, just see if you can't just bring up those splits on the side for us, please. It should just say timings, just so we can see what the current positions are. Because at the moment we are not able to see what position these drivers are in. But in the background there, that does look like it's the Ford that's pulling away in first place. But Christopher is right behind Marius in second place. That's actually... Oh, sorry, that was Ross now moving up a position. So he's now currently in 6th place. Ross getting that braking very, very wrong, just tapping the rear of Sly Pete racing for the Rough Riders. Ryan, just have a look there for the split times or positions or something, just so we can see what's happening in this position. So Christopher looking to the inside through turn number 4, just about touching there. But this is where this Ford is just so strong. And Christopher will now just close up on the rear as he'll come through the last couple of corners. You can see very, very hesitant on the brakes there. Marius trying to get that car turned in. And Christopher right on the rear once again. With Marius trying to find the traction to get that power down. But as this car straightens up, this is where the Ford is so strong. You can see the gap just opening. Ryan, can you hear me? So guys, it doesn't sound like Ryan can hear as Christopher looks to the inside. He's been able to put that car on the inside, but now Marius will have the advantage, straight line speed. I keep saying Christopher, but this actually is Jake, so it's, or am I confused? Well, have to try and get those the positions up. Let's see if we can't get hold of Ryan here. So to the inside, which is actually Jake's. Yeah, I just got confirmation that Ryan is not able to hear me. So there's Christopher. He is further down the field. Sorry guys, I really don't want to do this, but if I don't tell Ryan what he needs to do, we are going to continue just not catching all that action. I do definitely apologize about this. I just want to leave this chat party quickly. Let's invite Ryan directly into here. Leave it in the normal settings. Body settings, just make sure this is set to okay, and we are back. So Ryan really doing a fantastic job, just trying to keep the camera moving, but without me being able to communicate to him, he is not too sure what to be looking at. So Ashley moving to the inside on Sly Pete. I just hope he knows that he's on the inside there. Ashley deciding to rather just back out of that maneuver. Those two battling for a 7th and 8th place. Will exit out of the last corner. Oh, a little touch of the curb there for Pete. They across the line. Not sure what lap this is. We're on 12 minutes to go. We'll actually have a look to the inside here through turn number 3. Yes, he does, but he's going to lose the rear. Just turning that car in way too sharply. So he's unfortunately now dropped down to 9th. That's going to allow Memo to join him. Right, so Ryan can hear me. Ryan, if you can just get the split times up on the side of the screen for us, please, just so we can see where the current positions are. A little spin in the background there, so that was not quite the right one, but we can see that Jakes is currently leading with Morris in 2nd, then it's Alex in 3rd. Christopher, he's in 4th. It should say split time or time difference. I'm just trying to get the block up on the left hand side of the screen there, Ryan. So Memo now currently battling with Steven behind him. Memo in a 10th place. That's the one we're looking for. Thank you kindly. Now a quick recap. So it is indeed Jakes who is leading this race ahead of Morris in the Ford Cosworth. Alex, he's in 3rd with Christopher in 4th. We have Shane for the Rough Riders. He's in 5th place. So I'm sure lots of support coming through for him there. Ross in a 6th place with Sly Pete down. He's in 7th with Marshall moving up into 8th. Ashley 9th. Little move to the inside here for Shane. No, that's Ross. Ross and Shane. It's Ross and Shane. They're going to be side by side coming down the Vale. Shane will be on the inside. Ross will have to go wider, but that might put him on the inside here for the exit of turn number 13. Shane goes wide, but he'll have the much faster drive down the outside through turn number 14. So Shane will remain in a 5th place, but great racing action there. Looking down the order, I see that it is Gerard, the second of the Dubcatu drivers. He's down in 13th place, where he started in 4th, so it must have been a little bit of contact there. Marshall starting to close up on a Sly Pete. So Pete defending that inside line, not giving Marshall lots of room on that outside. Not able to go anywhere. So as I scan back through the times, just having a look at some of the time differences. Ooh, little flick of the rear there by one of the Rough Riders, BLK. That is Pierre down in 11th place. He was getting that a little bit sideways coming through the transition onto turn number 14. Some lots and lots of support coming through for Shane. George Zabir saying, good run Shane, push boy. So just a question that now goes out to Yaku. We can see that Jake's now leading this race with Marius possibly needing to just nurse those tires a little bit, let them cool down. Oh, a little bit wide there. But this is what we want to see. We want to be able to see if Marius is able to close up this gap, heading down the hanger straight. They'll now go to Stowe, but are not able to close down. Marius is able to close up just about half a second. But as they go through the twisty bits, once again now through the Vale into turn 13. You can see this is where Marius will lose a little bit more time to Jakes as Jake starts getting that grip, opening up some of that time. See how the front of that car just squatted as Marius went onto the brakes, needing a lot of brakes to help this car turn in. You could hear Marius just feathering that throttle, trying to get that power down, and as they go back into the transition, you can see that gap just under a second. So Marius might have a little bit of an advantage here, and he should be able to close down ever closer. Jakes decides to go defensive. Can Marius go around the outside? No, he does not. Down towards the Vale. I do want to see what's happening here, but I see Ryan Effinger just jumped there to a 7th and 8th place. Marshall and Pete are having an almighty battle, followed very closely by Ashley. And then in the background there's another 4 cars within a second of each other. Oh, that's Pete going very sideways. I do not know how Ashley managed to miss him. That was extremely close. So that's Pete now down into 9th place, and he's going to have 4 cars going to close up on him. So there's Pierre, as Stephen, then Pierre right behind Pete. So down in 9th place. So there's a second of the Ducati Racing drivers. That is Gerard starting to close up on Dirkie, who's currently in the BMW. And you can see how controlled and stable that BMW is through this twisty bit. The Merc really having to work hard. Not as hard as the Ford, however. But Gerard is desperately trying to close up here on Dirkie. Dirkie doing a 112. Gerard doing a 120.3. So definitely must have been a mistake there. So we can just jump to our leaders there. Please, I just want to see, because Marius is right on the rear of Jakes as they come through the transition now. 0.6 of a second. Will that be close enough as Jake slides it through there into turn 14, back onto the hanger straight? So first and second having been able to lap. That is Troy. Jake's moving to the inside. Marius trying to go around the outside. Not close enough there. But now Marius really hassling the Mercedes-Benz in front of him. So 4 minutes to go. So we possibly going to have just on about 3 laps. We should get 4 laps in. At 26 seconds. Marius deciding just to let Jakes go through there. I think that was a very smart idea. Not risking it, trying to dive into turn number 1. But now you'll be able to close up on Jakes. Ease that power, and that's going to get him within that 0.6 of a second through the transition. Then down that hanger straight. Can hear how tentative Morris has to be on that power, but here we go. This is the speed differential. Jake's going very defensive, moving right off the line to take an inside tighter line. Morris thinks about going around the outside, but once again has to pull out of that move. Well, that Ford very, very sideways. Jake's is now sideways, coming out through turn number 13, now out of 14. Morris very close this time round. He's with 0.3, it's 0.2, 0.1. Will he have an opportunity to move to the inside? No, not close enough. But I think if Morris stays within that half a second going through that transition, he's definitely going to be able to get himself around Jake's. Morris goes a little bit wide. That's 0.7 on the exit. That's not going to help him. They look just about side by side, but Jake's is behind Morris, but Jake's on the inside. So Morris now has to drop back, get back behind him. So with 2 more laps left, Morris is really going to have to be very smart about this. When does he take that opportunity? He only is going to have 2 laps left to do it. We can just see the time at top left corner, how quickly it closes down. So guys, I do know that there are other battles happening, but this is the battle that everyone's been talking to the lead up of this race. Would the Ford have an unfair advantage here? I do see that Christopher's got himself ahead of Alex. So it is a green number 1 and 3. So Morris is closer this time round. This might be the opportunity for him to get around Jakes. You can see 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. So Morris has now gone into the lead, going through Stowe. Great run there by Morris. He bought his time, but now Jakes is going to be able to fight back with the more grippy car. Morris defending that inside line, not letting Jakes move there. Out through the Vale now into turn number 13. Out through turn 14. Morris is going to be able to open up just that little bit of a gap from Jakes. But now this is where Jakes will have to ride it through turn number 1, through turn number 2, and hopefully be able to beat Morris on the brakes going into turn 3. Jakes was having a look to the inside but wasn't close enough. Jakes looking to the inside, going through the transition. Morris going to start catching up to some back markers. But this is it. All Morris needs to do is just bring it home. There in the background we see Christopher in a 3rd place. Then it is Alex in 4th with Ross in 5th. Shane fought valiantly. He's in 6th place with Marshall in 7th. Ashley down in 8th. Stephen, he's in 9th place, driving with 2 broken ribs. Gerard in 10th. Durkee, he's just got himself a penalty there in 11th place. Then Pete is in 12th with Troy in 13th place and Memo down in 14th position. But it is Morris in the Ford. He will take the win. Flashes there by Jakes. An absolute fantastic battle between these two. So guys, tell us your comments. Let's hear what you have to say. What did you think about that race? So here we have a Marshall. He's closing up on Shane. Shane in 6th place. Marshall looking for an opportunity to go through the inside. Not going to be able to convert it this time round. So Shane crosses the line, but you see he now moves up into 5th, which means that Ross has got himself some time penalties. So a great finish there for, not too sure what happened there, whether that was someone being lapped, but Gerard and Darge managed to get through there. So Gerard will come home in 9th place, Stephen will finish 10th, and Darge in 11th place. Sly Pete down in 12th, was Troy in 13th, and Memo in 14th position. So there's confirmation. Just as I was about to say that, we unfortunately did not get that, but it will be pretty accurate from what we saw on the list on the right hand side. Thank you, Ryan. We were definitely able to come right there, so really do appreciate that. We've just got to take the qualifying off, and as we did in the previous race, we will remove the qualifying. The guys will get themselves into position, and then we will do a formation lap and once again go racing for 20 minutes. So lots of comments coming through. Well done, Shane. That comes from Trevor. Well done, Shane. That comes from Vanna Eckstein. Thank you guys for joining us on the stream. Andrew Horn saying awesome race, great race, or good race there from Terry Wolford. So they're still watching. Really awesome to see. Qualifying is off. I can get my thumb up. So as mentioned, I will do this a lot quicker than before, but here are the current points, and this is after round number 2, because we're currently round number 3. So Christopher, he currently leads with Gerard for Dubcati Racing. In second place was Jakes in third. Morris, he's in fourth, but that's definitely going to help his cause. He's going to be moving up the order now with that win. Jakes, he too will be moving up ahead of Gerard with a little bit of a error there. Johan, he was in 6th place. He was not racing, so he unfortunately will start dropping down. Then Marshall was in 7th place with Ashley in 8th, Alex in 9th, 4th place there for Alex, so he'll be very happy with that. Then in terms of the position, Shane, he will get himself some points and move up the order with Peter in 11th, Stevens in 12th, Memo in 13th with Pierre 14th, Troy in 15th, 16th is Darge. As a substitute, he'll get some points here this evening, and the second of the NASCAR drivers, Craig, he still to score. In terms of the overall championships, it is the Green Members that are currently leading with Dubcati Racing in second, ahead of the Chasing Beavers in third. Rough Riders are 4th with Silverback Racing. That's Morris driving on his own in 5th place. So here the guys will finish their formation lap. Morris will give them the countdown. It will be a 3, 2, 1, and off they will go. And hopefully no incidences they are going through incidences. Hopefully no coconuts happening, and we will be racing. Just remember that the guys do try and get around here, but it is within the 20 minutes of the race itself, so the race is generally around about 17 minutes. But that does not mean that the racing or the action will be any different. You can see the guys in the background, they are still coming around Stowe, so Marius will just slow down just a little bit, allow them to all bunch up, and then we'll be racing here heat number 2 of the Alpha tier. So the guys are all bunched up. That is green lights, and we are racing here in the second heat for the Alpha tier. So Marius is away with Jake's in second place. Christopher, he's in third with Alex in fourth for the Rough Riders. So I'm seeing single files through turn number 1, so no incidences there. That's really great to see, because now we can focus on getting the racing done. So Jake's looks like he's let Christopher go through. So some cones being thrown into the air there. Long single file of these E190 Mercedes-Benzes. Jake's very sideways through Stowe. But Christopher having a look around the outside. Morris is definitely going to see him coming. So Christopher will now be on the outside. If you just drop down to like 6th place there for us, Ryan. Just want to see what's happening further down there, because they were just about 3 wide going into down the Vale, but everyone has gone through there cleanly, so really good to see. Some guys running a little bit wide down in the background there. That was the 2 Rough Rider drivers going a little bit wide. We can just jump back to the top. It is Marius with Christopher right behind him. Then we have Jake's in 3rd place as they come through the transition. The 2 green numbers chasing down the silverback driver. But that is speed differential along this hangar straight. And I'm surprised that Christopher was actually able to go with him. So I'm not sure whether Morris is just keeping those tires nice and cool. Morris defensive now into turn number 13. Oh, that's, sorry, 11. That's 13. Then through turn 14. Christopher on the inside. Whoa, looks like they are very close. Morris just about being surrounded by the 2 green numbers. They'll slot back into single file through turn number 1. And see how the rear of that car is just sliding all over the place. Morris goes defensive to the inside. Christopher trying to go around the outside here, and he will be able to get in front of Marius. But now they'll go through the transition, a little touch. But I don't think there was anything untoward there. But that's allowed Alex to close up that gap. Ross is also right behind there. So Christopher's been able to keep that forward behind him. Here on a lap number 4 with still 15 minutes to go. Oh, there's Ross in the background there. He's spun out. His teammate has now moved up ahead of him. So Gerard is up into 5th. Marshall, he's in 6th place. Great drive there for him. Ross in 7th place. Stephen is in 8th with Pete in 9th. Dirkie up to 10th place. Troy is in 11th. Pierre 12th. Mebel 13th. Shane down in 14th place. Not sure whether he lost it somewhere there, but we didn't see that happening. So the new race leader, Christopher, he starts opening a gap of 0.83. But you can see it is 5 cars here at the front. Then Marshall and Ross further down. Morris having a little look to the inside, coming through Stowe, not close enough. Just love the way that car just slides through there. Morris getting very close behind the rear of Christopher there. So we'll definitely go back to this action on the hangar straight, but if you could just drop down there to 10th place for me, please, Ryan. Just want to have a look at this battle that's starting to build, and this is between Stephen, Pete, and Dirkie. 3 cars battling it out. You can see Stephen having just a little tap on the front. Christopher getting himself a time penalty. You can see the little red sticker that's now come up on his name. I'm sure Marius will be absolutely ecstatic to see that. All you'll need to do is just monitor that gap now, and Marius will be able to take that position from him. We'll just jump back to the race leaders for us, please. So time penalty needing to be added to the end of Christopher's race. You see how he's sliding that car on the outside curb. That's not a very safe place to be. So guys, if you are on the stream, don't forget that this live Group A action is proudly brought to you by our sponsors, and that is VX Gaming, NASCOM Executive IT, and Deliver Your Parcel. The company links are in the description below, so if you do want to go and check them out, support the companies that support Sarco to keep bringing you this racing. That would be absolutely fantastic. So the race for first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. This is what you're currently watching. Christopher, Marius, Jakes, Alex driving out of Norway, and Gerard. Big slide there for Christopher. I'm not sure whether that was for the camera, but that's definitely gonna lose some speed, because with those cars sliding, he is losing traction, he's not getting drive, and that is essentially slowing him down. So Gerard putting all amounts of pressure on the rear of Alex. They'll go into turn number 1. And you can just see how quick this race pace is. 1 minute 10.9. 1 minute 10.9. 1 minute 10.9. Oh, a little bit of argy-bargy there by Gerard. But you can see him letting Alex go through. Great sportsmanship there. Giving that place back to Alex. Well done, Gerard. But that pace of the 3 drivers up front, I've never seen the time so close. Absolutely fantastic to see. Morris to the inside of Stowe. That car, you can see how it was twitching left and right as he got into the brakes. A little bit of a lag there moment for Christopher. Morris really trying hard to get that car controlled, not let that rear over rotate. So Andrew, we don't know how much Christopher's penalty is now, but with him running wide like that, that's probably going to be add some more. I can't imagine that he's going to want to come off the pace and give that position back to Morris. With Morris to the inside, I honestly thought he might have had a look there. Jake's still not letting these guys go. So 110.6, 110.4, 110.7. So still very close there up front. But as we jump down to 10th place, there's still battles happening all over the field. That looked like Steven got the rear a little bit loose, so you can see that he lost some of that momentum between himself and Pete. And there goes Troy, and it is a shake and bake special. Both are shake and bake drivers putting a little spin show together for us. And what that does, that allows Pete to be clear in 9th place. Memo's now going to move up into 10th. Ashley will now be 11th. Troy down in 12th. Piers in 13th. And Steven down in 14th place. Side by side, Pierre and Steven. Pierre will open his line ever so slightly and allow Steven to go through. Steven will hold that inside line now down through the veil. So I was just looking at 4th and 5th place, and I see that Gerard has managed to get himself ahead of Alex there. But Morris still fighting really hard, trying to get this car ahead of, getting his Ford ahead of the Mercedes-Benz. We have 7.5 minutes to go left of this race. And in a 6th place, that is 6th and 7th, Marshall and Ross having a battle of their own there. Here we can see them coming down the veil. Ross losing it coming through Stowe. That did look like was a little bit of a glitch, but the drivers still far away from each other. Ross really batting to get their power down. So they will cross the line and they will begin their 11th lap. But let's jump back to the race leaders, because you can see Morris just closing up on Christopher through the transition. And we know that if Morris is within that 0.5 of a second, he's able to get himself ahead down the main straight. But still, we do not know what Christopher's time penalty is. That is just one of the bits of information that we do not have at our disposal. And depending on how much that is, that Jakes could also find himself moving up the order and putting him in 2nd place. So as that midfield starts opening just a little bit, you see Alex starting to lose a little bit of pace compared to Gerard. But that's because Gerard did a 111.1. He did back-to-back 111.1s. Alex a 111.4. Ross 111.7. Marshall 111.9. So these guys are extremely close through the field. So Morris was just over a second coming down the hanger straight. Five minutes to go, so we'll have 4 laps left. And is this all part of Morris's plan, just to stay within that time penalty area between himself and Christopher? So that gap now opens up to more than 1 second. Christopher into turn number 3. They'll go through turn number 4. Then they'll pick up the GP circuit in turn number 14 through the transition. Oh, Morris very wide there. Once again, that time was greater than 1 second. So Morris not going to be able to close him up just yet. So you saw that when Morris went onto the brakes, he was 0.39. So if he is within half a second, that will put him 0.1 of a second ahead of Christopher. Big slide there for Morris. I think those tires are starting to heat up now as Christopher opens up that gap. So guys, we have 3 laps, maybe 4 laps, depending on the pace that these guys are going. Let us know what's going to happen in these final moments. Some other time penalties for some of the other drivers. That's Darge down in 8th place. He finds himself with a penalty as well as Memo in 10th and Stephen in 12th place. So the lead pack starting to close up on the rear of the Rough Rider Pete. Great onboard shot here from Morris. You can see down through the Vale. Morris using the gears to get that car braked and turning in. Christopher sliding on the exit through 14. You can just hear as that turbo kicks in how it just lights up the rears. Great use of the curb there for Morris, taking a lot of curb on the inside through turn number 1. Morris coming completely off the throttle there through turn number 4. Down the hangar straight, just seeing if there's any other battles that we could possibly be missing. But now coming up to a back marker, we just hope that Pete sees them coming, gets out of the way. Yes, he has. He's actually gone off track. Thank you, Pete, not wanting to get involved with this battle. This is the battle for 1st and 2nd place. Jake's unfortunately just starting to lose a little bit of pace to the guys up front. Morris battling to get their power down. That's going to allow Christopher to open just a little gap. So crossing the line with 1 minute 20 to go. That means we will have one more lap after this one. Looking at the current pace that the guys are going. So they should cross the line with about 8 seconds left. Lock up there for Christopher. So here out braking himself, but that was making use of that ABS. A little bit of a lockup. I think as he was turning in, that inside wheel might have just locked up. Christopher fighting for a dear life there through the Vale. Now into turn number 12. Big sideways moment now through turn number 13. Cross the line. This will be the final lap, and my predictions were 2 seconds too slow. Great car control by both of the drivers. 2 very, very different styles and 2 very, very different outcomes. That's Morris very wide. You can see sliding that car as he turned through that transition. Morris having a dive to the inside, going through Stowe. They're going to be a side by side. That is absolutely fantastic, but Christopher was able to get the power down, so he will have the inside here through the first of the chicanes. Big sideways moment for Christopher. Morris looking to the inside. They're going to be side by side when they cross the line. So they will cross the line. Christopher finishes in first place, but you can see that Marius will get that win. 1 second was the difference there, so it looked like it might have just been a 1 second penalty. Absolutely incredible race. Jakes will come home in third place, with Gerard fighting his way up through the pack to get himself a fourth. Alex will finish in a very good fifth place there, with Ross sixth. Marshall, a great seventh place there for him. Dirkie comes home in fourth. Ashley finishes in ninth, with Memo in 10th place. Stephen finishes in 11th, Troy down in 12th, and Pete in 13th position. So as the time starts winding down, just want to thank Ryan very much for joining me, taking on that role very late. It was just a message to see if anybody could join us, and he put his hand up. So thank you, Ryan, for helping me out there. So some really great battles happening all throughout the field there. A great effort there from Ross as well as Marshall. An absolutely fantastic battle between them. So we're just waiting to get our podium winners up into the lobby with us. So we see the guys are starting to join me up in the commentary box. So just Marius to join us, and then we will have a little chat.
Dylan, can you hear me?
Hallo Jakes.
Hallo Marius.
Jy's ek's op.
Ek ook. Ja.
Ek kan skaars uit my riek uitgeklim het man.
Ja. Gentlemen,
That was
gentlemen, all I can say is what an absolutely fantastic race. Marius, 2 wins there for you, but let's start off with heat number 1. Jakes, you led for most of the race, and I was actually, must apologize that we thought it was Christopher. Didn't quite see what had happened off the start. The cameraman was all over the place, and then all of a sudden we realized 3 laps in that it was actually you that was leading that race.
Yes, I think Christopher had a default start. He pulled off too early, and it gave him a drive-through penalty. So that, unfortunately for him, and I went ahead of Marius. I think his tires went off a bit, and I took advantage of that. I couldn't. I had a 1 second penalty, and I knew Marius was on my case the whole time, and that 1 second penalty just did not grew bigger.
Yeah.
And I knew that I'm not going to push it just for making a mistake or anything like that. And he passed me and he won. And
yeah,
but I'm very happy. Last week was not nice for me, and this week is much better.
No, 100%.
And, I just want to congratulate my teammate there for entering the pits and ended up 3rd place. Wow, what an excellent race.
Yeah, so that's not something that we saw. So definitely we see that Christopher is just having a little bit of issues. We did have our Bravo tier guys having some issues coming in. So let's just go to you, Marius. 2 wins there. That's the first race, it looked like you were just biding your time. And then when the time was right, that was when you started pushing. And it looked like it was the last 2 laps was when you had planned that for.
Yeah, it was actually a bit later. It was the last, the lap just before the last lap. I thought I had to go for it because my tires, I couldn't, I was really struggling to keep up with Jake's and Christopher's pace. I could not, so I tried to use the straight and save my tires through that long right-hander, but it didn't work. I was just a little bit lucky. Yeah, and when I saw he had the 1 second penalty, I knew all I had to do was just stay there. Okay, but he came out the last onto the back straight. He didn't come out there nice, so I really had good drive because he was blocking me every lap. He took the inside line.
Kept taking the inside, 100%.
Yes. But I had 2 brilliant races. I mean, Christopher won the race. He just had
the time penalty.
The penalty. Yes, the time penalty, and that was absolutely. I could hardly climb out my rig. It was tense. It was a brilliant race. Christopher had I knew what he was doing. He was trying to stretch me so I would use up my tires.
100%.
He did a good job of it. Because,
well, it nearly did work out in his favor. And if it wasn't for that 1 second penalty, then it would have been a very different conversation. But Morris,
again, the last 2 laps, I thought to myself, now it's gung-ho. Come hell or high whether I have to catch him, but he was still, he could just do it. It was a brilliant race. It was 2 of the most enjoyable races I had in a long time.
So what we noticed is that when you came out through the transition back onto the hanger straight, is that if you were in half a second, you would be 0.1 of a second ahead of them going into Stowe. So you were making up 0.6 of a second on that straight. So anything more than half a second that you weren't able to go and fight them there?
No, because as Jakes would tell you, I lost everything right there at the next corner. I lose that whole advantage again. So it didn't help me much.
Yeah. Right, guys.
I tried to use it strategically in the end with Jakes to try, or even with Christopher in the end, I tried to take the inside. But I just did not have the grip to consolidate.
Yeah.
I knew he had the outside for the next corner. So I thought, maybe to the line, but it was again, wheels difference over the line. It was brilliant.
Come on, Christopher. There we go.
Yay!
So, Christopher, we didn't know that you actually went into the pits on lap 1 for getting the jump start, so sorry about that. But to come and claw back and take a 3rd place, absolutely fantastic. Let's just talk about the second race, however. 1 second penalty, and you had Morris chasing you down.
Yeah, there was... it wasn't easy trying to keep him behind, and I knew he had the pace in the straight, so I was stretching every last little bit of tarmac to try and keep the pace as fast as possible, and got a 1 second penalty. And I just thought to myself, well, let me just keep pushing and try and build a second lead and try and let him overheat the tires. And then I got another 2 seconds, and I just threw it away. So I thought at the end, well, that's it, just push as hard as I can, and that was that.
100%.
I didn't know about the penalties. I was concentrating so hard to beat you across the line, okay? It was a brilliant race. It was really...
No, guys,
it was awesome. Thanks, bud.
Thank you so much. And if you go and watch the stream back, you'll see that there were battles all through the field. It was really, really awesome. So just a thank you to everyone. Thank you, Christopher, for Jakes and Marius for an absolutely fantastic show. Really look forward to seeing what happens on Thursday. Cool.
Great fun.
Flat out.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Flat out, man.
Well done, Jakes.
Thanks, you too, buddy.
Hey, Jake. Good night.
Okay. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Luck, Marius. Cheers, bud.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
So thank you very much, guys. I was not meant to do that. I was meant to do that. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give our video a like. If you'd like to, you can subscribe to our channel. Hit that little notification button if you're on YouTube. Otherwise, just like the page and you will be notified when we do have another live event coming up. This coming Thursday, we are in the Formula Renault 3.5 V8, and it is going to be an absolute cracker. We are racing at the Le Mans Bugatti track, so not a track we would normally race there, but lots and lots of close racing and overtaking opportunities there. So really looking forward to that. And our sponsors for this series is proudly brought to you by VX Gaming, the Deliver Your Parcel, and NASCOM. All the information of the companies that support Sarco on the links below. Go and check them out. So guys, until then, all I can say is keep racing. Until then, thanks for watching. Yos.
Hello, sir. Thank you for even Roof and Peter says thank you. They enjoyed it. Just one thing, is all the settings locked? Because all of us, do we need to load our settings, or is it locked, or what is happening? Because we don't know that set up properly yet, because we all went with factory settings out. If you maybe can just give me a heads up or explain what we need to do there. But otherwise, I say thank you very much.